Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to tonight's episode of STARJUMP Shipyard. I had to remember the name of the show. It is Shipyard. Nice to see everybody. I realize my lighting is a little odd. Let me see. I'm going to turn on my stream lights real quick, see if that is better or worse. I was trying not to have the lights shining right in my face tonight, but okay, we're going to go with the lights. We're going to go with the lights. Nice to see everybody. Hope you had a great week. It's been a nice week for me, and that I made significant recovery progress on my leg, which is great. As you all know, I've been recovering from knee surgery that has been especially hard on me. I already had bad knees, so when the knees get worked on and they're then weak and stuff from the surgery, it's even more of a rough recovery. So anyways, we got a decent amount to go over tonight. It's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter stream. We're going to be talking about sort of Invictus speculation. We'll have some general conversation just around Invictus. I will say that the bot is not working tonight. I unfortunately did not inform Piggles soon enough. No problem for him, but I was kind of forgot about the bot until about 20 minutes before the show. So we don't have it, but if you have a question or comment or want to add to this discussion, just put question or comment in all caps and brackets, and Art will try to grab those. We do have some questions from last show that we didn't get to, by the way, and we'll see if we can circle back around to that. But first and foremost, Art, how are you? You're here with me.
I'm doing well, sir.
Yeah.
Not recovering from any knee injury, surgery, and or such things. So
yeah,
I don't want to say better than you, but
yeah, it's been, I think it's been a couple weeks for all of us in and around these parts. I think whether it's work, health recovery, or whatever else, I just feel like everyone's sort of been going through, their stuff. So yeah, but hopefully you all in chat are doing good. We do have some stuff to talk about tonight. First, I want to jump right into the giveaway tonight. As you saw in the video title, we are doing our Saber Peregrine Star Kitten pack giveaway. This one is courtesy of CIG, so big thank you to our friends over at Cloud Imperium Games for providing this. This is a game package. It comes with the armor and the gun and the paint for the Peregrine and a Peregrine ship in there. It also comes with the Star Kitten racing paint for the base Saber, which is pretty cool as a nice little add-in there. So yeah, all that in the game package there. There's 76 minutes left of this giveaway. We will do the giveaway live on stream. If you want to get in on that, though, and you haven't yet, it is very easy to do. I just realized I did not have that link ready. Usually I do. If you do want to get in on that, all you got to do is go to this link right here. Just posted it down in chat. And what I might do, just to keep things easy, is I'll pin it here in the channels so everyone can get to it. If someone comes in and says, hey, what's the giveaway? You'll know exactly what to tell them in chat. Both of those are pinned now to both the top of the YouTube chat, top of the Twitch chat. Get in on that while you can. Again, 76 more minutes, and we're going to be giving that really cool pack away. Again, it includes everything you see here and then some, okay? So again, big thanks to CIG for providing that. As we go into the Invictus time period closer to May, I'm sure we're going to be getting a lot of cool stuff from CIG to give away. I think there's been some hints of an Aurora Mark II, possibly, maybe coming for 4.7. We'll see. At least it looks like that. And if we do, I would think and hope that CIG would probably provide one, and maybe we can do an Aurora Mark II giveaway. We'll have to see, though. No promises on that. Thank you for the follows, everyone. Sweno, Peace Frog, Lorian Winters. We're doing really great, by the way. 8,025 followers on Twitch, which is absolutely amazing. And again, our YouTube numbers continuing to climb. 16,700. We are getting finally out of that plateau we set at for a long time, at 16,400 subscribers. So we're starting to get out of that, which is really great to see, especially with the YouTube channel not being monetized. That's one of the things that sort of really holds that back a lot, getting past that plateau. And we've been able to do that organically just because all of you have showed up. And that's obviously super important. We appreciate that. Okay, I want to talk about another thing. Oh, well, yeah, actually, since we're on giveaways, do not forget the Drake Ironclad giveaway is going on. That is happening. That is a thing. Of course, it's still a thing. If you want to get in on that, we'll be giving that ship away on May 31st. It costs nothing to enter. You just follow the link I just pasted down there in chat, the gleam.io Drake Ironclad giveaway. Get in on that. There's several free ways to enter. I think this ship is coming at Drake Defense Con. Not 100% certain, but I think that's what we think. But regardless, May 31st, this Ironclad with 10 years insurance is dropping in someone's hangar. It's Drake. It's got a lot of Kraken parts on it. So right away, that means it's the second best ship in the game, for the game. You know it, I know it. It's a fact. No one can argue it. Okay. Now, before we got sort of two things we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Squadron 42. We're going to talk about Invictus speculation. Okay. We don't have like a full broken out list of every possible permutation of what's coming at Invictus, but we have, some hopes and some things we think may happen, right? So, we're going to kind of go through what some of those options are. Again, I'm going to talk about Squadron 42 a little bit. Art has an interesting little talking point there that I think would be fun to discuss on here. And of course, some of you may be wondering about St. Jude Play Live. St. Jude Play Live, you all know we did it last year. It was really, really cool, really, really successful. That success pretty much completely you're all's doing, okay? You're all's doing. Hey, Beg for Mercy's in chat. Beg, hope you're doing well, buddy. Shout out to the awesome people over at Enemy Contact. About to get their ships in Fleet Viewer very soon. Starlet's going to push those in. But St. Jude Play Live, couple questions you may have floating in your heads right now. Is it going to happen this year? Yes, it's going to happen this year. I still need to talk with Ender. I've been doing some of my own pre-planning for the event, getting things ready, all that kind of good stuff. So I feel that it's coming up really, really quickly, but I do feel somewhat prepared, sort of, maybe. However, I do have a little thing I can talk about tonight in relation to that. As you all know, usually we have an amazing amount of people providing ships and items and things for raffles, for donation raffles via St. Jude Play Live, via our Tiltify link that we've done in years past. That will be no different this year. In April, I'm not going to talk about May. It's a little too far away, but April's coming really quick. And you might be wondering, what is this channel going to be giving away during April? Is anyone curious? Is anyone curious about that? Anyone in chat? Last year we gave away some good stuff.
I'm really curious.
Yeah, last year we gave away some good stuff. You know what I mean? Starter pack here. Paint a ship skin there, right? Got some people listing off some new ships, right? Hull B railing, maybe. You never know. Never know. Especially if those ships are the new hotness. I mean, we know the railing's coming at an Alien Week. That's pretty exciting. I usually don't give a rat's ass about Alien Week, but I'm very excited for it this year. Hey, it's C Daddy CIG. Salute to our Cloud Imperium Games dev friends. C Daddy, hope you're well, buddy. So yeah, I think it's time to illuminate you a little bit. This is just a tease, but during the month of April, we got some big plans here on this channel. During the month of April, we got quite a few giveaways that are going to happen. Quite a few. Maybe the ships you see here, maybe more. Okay, maybe more. We go big here. We go big. We go hard. That's how we do it. Okay. So we are working behind the scenes. We are working on things, planning things. Some conversations have still got to happen, but we got a lot of big stuff planned for April. Now that this channel is a Twitch partner, we're possibly going to get some big support via Twitch, and looking at other people that can support in interesting ways. So all I'm going to say for now is stay tuned for next Wednesday. Okay, next Wednesday being the 25th. On the 25th, I'm going to have a big St. Jude announcement. I'm going to reveal the raffle schedule for April. I'm going to reveal my content schedule for the month of April and everything we're going to be doing throughout. Okay, everything we're going to be doing throughout. There's also going to be giveaways that are not tied to St. Jude, meaning you don't have to donate money to them. They'll just be completely free to enter. Obviously, we have the Ironclad. We're going to be starting our Galaxy giveaway on May 31st. So the months of April and May are going to be huge. They're going to be exciting. Hopefully, you all will enjoy them. But we got a lot of stuff planned. A lot of stuff planned. Okay. So more on that very soon. If you want to find out everything, though, next Wednesday, okay, the 25th, next Wednesday, I'm going to reveal all of a lot more stuff figured out. Still some conversations got to be had. You got to talk to Ender soon. Me and Art have got to do some pre-planning, but definitely are trying to make this year a very successful St. Jude Play Live money raising campaign. Okay, so there you go. More on that very soon, but I did want to just sort of tease you a little bit on what may be coming for the month of April alone. Okay, month of April alone. Okay, now one other thing I do want to go over, the referral campaign to get that daggum Misk Raptor in Fleet Viewer is going very, very well. As you can see, I've finally hit 40 recruits, only 2 away from my Gladius Dunlevy. That is all thanks to you all getting the message out there. Really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you have a friend out there who's wanting to get into the game and they're not using your referral code, because I stress that, have them use yours first if you're trying to get that. Absolutely. If you don't give a crap about that, though, and you want to use someone's, feel free to use mine. There is the link down in chat. I do appreciate it. When we hit 50, we're going to get that daggum Raptor and Fleet Viewer, because why not, right? Hudson Hawk says, Graham, will you add the Gladius Dunlevy? We probably should. We probably should. VMXEO's in chat. VM ain't got nothing to do. VM just sits around all day. VMXEO's got nothing to do. He sits around all day.
He could totally come in here and chat with us too.
Yeah, he's super bored all the time.
He's very antisocial.
He's super bored all the time. He really wants something to do. He could absolutely do the Dunlevy. Yeah, C-Daddy says slacker. I agree.
I mean, we could technically ask C-Daddy to come on. He could also come talk to us anytime he'd like.
Yeah, C-Daddy,
invitations out there.
C-Daddy likes to lord over chat, and then if he needs to throw down some truth facts, he can do that right from the old chat window. That's what he likes. VMXEO, so he comes up with VMXEO. You're still in Christmas with the bah humbug, man. I'm just saying, you gotta. It's March.
It's March.
That's the boredom right there. He's just bored.
Although if you'd have went outside today, it would have felt like it was Christmas for us because it was quite cold.
Yeah.
And it snowed yesterday.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
3 times.
That is true. Okay, everyone, we're going to get to some stuff. We're going to get to a few things here. So we have some questions from last stream. I want to answer a few of those. I think we got 1 or 2. Maybe they've come in now. We'll hit a few questions. Then we're going to talk about Squadron 42, sort of speculation, rumors. And then we're going to talk about just our Invictus thoughts, what we think might come, what we're hoping might come, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. Again, VMXEO, if you do want to jump in chat, you're always welcome to, buddy. So let's hit a couple of these questions. I know we got one right out the gate here from our good buddy VG. VG says Hull B at 4.7 question mark. Well, I think this is a good time to bring up our ship tracking chart, which I'm going to do right now. Let me go ahead and bring that up. And you know, I don't swear by the accuracy of this, but we'll see. So where ships were last time we checked in, let's zoom in on this group up here. Obviously, the Argo Moth has been released. Based off the PU monthly reports, this is sort of the last information we got. With the Argo Moth released, obviously, the Aegis Hammerhead gold standard passed, although I think the Hammerhead, for at least what it seems like, it got a little bit more of a rework. Not a full rework or anything, but got a little bit more love and attention versus just like some light switches and stuff added. So I'm really excited to see more about that. That was headed to the downstream teams, along with the Greycat UTV, and then Hull B and Drake Ironclads, both the Ironclads, those were headed into Lot Zero phase, or kind of final art. I guess final art Lot Zero. I'd actually love if Ben Curtis would clarify that for me. I may need to ask him that. But either way, everything there you see there is heading along really well, heading down the ship pipeline path really well. The other one that you're not seeing here, obviously, the RSI Aurora Mark II, which we've been teased about from CIG here recently a few times, and I think it's a little tricky. I think it's very possible we could see the Miss Hull B at 4.7 along with the Aurora Mark II. That would make sense. It's also possible that we could get the Aurora Mark II first, and then the Miss Hull B at like a 4.7.1 patch or something. That's sort of the patch that they're kind of getting a lot of the Invictus stuff ready. I don't know how they want to separate that. Again, the way ships are releasing is a little bit different from last year in terms of that cadence. It does seem like we're still getting the monthly ship. So yeah, I mean, the question being is Hull B for 4.7. I think it's possible. But it could be mid-patch for the Hull B. Yeah, like Ambassador says, like the Moth was. So it looks right now like 4.7, though, is definitely Aurora Mark II time. So if that is a ship you've been waiting for, it's looking good for 4.7. So yeah, that's the Miss Hull B. Though I think, like I said, possible for mid-patch 4.7, or maybe CIG just drops it on us right there with the Aurora Mark II. I would expect them to have talked about it a little bit more than they have. I would assume we're getting a behind the ships episode next week. Obviously, that sort of gives us hints sometimes, but I would expect we're getting a behind the ships episode next week. Blade001 says, with the armor rework, how likely do you think it'd be for a Percy to take out a Polaris in 1v1? Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I think we're all kind of waiting to see how different ships are going to stack up against other ships. I mean, personally, I think a Polaris should be able to hold up to a Perseus pretty well, but not for an extended period of time. I mean, you got to remember, there's a gulf there's a size differential between those two ships, but the Perseus is sort of meant to punch pretty hard. I mean, it's got dual size 8 turrets on it, so I would expect size 8s to be able to do damage to a Polaris all day long. But with the size differential, I would think that a Perseus can't one-shot a Polaris, right? It needs to work on it, needs to kind of whittle it down a little bit. But yeah, I would think a Perseus should be able to hold up, as long as it's piloted well, I would think could be able to hold up to I believe a Perseus should be able to do a hell of a lot of damage to a Polaris in a short amount of time. So
I'd argue it depends on the weapon setup.
It depends on the weapon setup, the piloting, all that kind of stuff.
Whoa! This guy just jumps in channel like he can. Look at this guy. We got this VMXEO guy in here.
Hey, VM, how are you?
I was told there was coffee.
There
Oh,
is, there is, there is,
There is coffee. Well,
there is a bit. Yep. So
but
yeah,
I
I
would
mean,
say the weapons, because again, if it's a size 4 repeaters, then at least initially what we've looked at, no, it won't penetrate the armor and stuff like that. If it's cannons, if they're the size 4 cannons, this is excluding the size 6 gun underneath, of course. If it's this size 4 cannons, I think it'll give her a run for her money.
yeah, yeah,
We'll test it, Blade. We'll test it.
yeah. Speaking of sort of the release of some of these ships, going back to that really quick, obviously there's a lot we don't know about. There's a lot we haven't been updated on for a while. We haven't had any updates on Pioneer. We know the Galaxy's destined for IAE, or at least last we heard it was, but we haven't had any updates beyond that. It was sort of heading into white box. We did get a pretty substantial update on the Kraken last PU monthly report. Essentially, Kraken is being targeted for 2027. Great to hear. I think that was awesome for them to let us know that. And then the Raylan going flight ready for Alien Week in June. And the last we heard of the Raylan was that it was in gray box. So they actually have quite a bit of work to do on the Raylan to get it ready for a mid-June Alien Week release. So I think the ship teams are probably especially busy on the Raylan. But excited to see. I mean, it's just a ship that I think that's going to make the community really excited. So let me switch back over. Okay, let's hit a few of these questions. By the way, everyone, thank you for the follows and the resubscribes and all that kind of good stuff. I do appreciate it. Doctor Who just told me to hydrate. I'm going to do that. He must have heard my voice. But Doctor Who, thanks for the follow. Twizzler, Rustleg, Royce Rogers. Who else? Avavis. Unbeliteligible. Boy, that's a tough one. I got to figure out that. Unbeteligitor. That's a tough one. Time Lord. Coal Cove. Ticked. It's not a chicken. Yeah. Okay. With some resubscribes, some follows. Thank you very much. Again, everyone, 8,035 followers on Twitch. That's amazing. Okay.
you got the full Doctor Who turnout tonight.
I know. We got the full Doctor Who thing. Yeah. 180 over on YouTube tonight. It's awesome. 145 on Twitch. No raids. I love it. Okay. Let's go back to our questions from last time, and then let's go into some Squadron 42 speculation, rumors, however we want to talk about it. Okay. We're not gonna hit every question from that we left from last time. I'm sorry about that, but we are going to hit a few of these. Okay. Let me find where we left off. Okay, let's see. And this was our discussion related to armor and radar and all that kind of good stuff. Okay. This question was from Dark Tiger. He says, with the future of armor and Maelstrom, do you think ships will develop weak spots in their armor?
On purpose or as a bug?
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
That works.
Yeah, I guess that's the question is, does Maelstrom have a feature to it that has, sort of weak spots versus, which would be really interesting, especially for ships that have like, almost that sort of armor plated look where maybe CIG could sort of make those areas of Maelstrom a little tougher than others. However, I would assume that since they're trying to find kind of based off what I've seen them say in the past, it almost seems like they're looking for a way to sort of systemically get Maelstrom working throughout all the ships with some basic setup, sort of not out of the box, but without a ton of work. And that sort of leads me to believe that it's not going to be as intricate as like weak spots and all that. The Maelstrom will essentially queue off of certain numbers going below certain thresholds, and based off those numbers dipping below those thresholds, we'll see break apart happen. Do you guys agree with that? Is that what you're thinking?
I think that, right now at least they're going to have to kind of build that balance up. And I would be concerned if they start putting weak spots in ships.
Yeah.
With Maelstrom until we get to a point, maybe 1.0 range where we really have kind of beat the numbers out. That we can argue that, because this plate interacts this way, there's a thing, but I don't want the Star Wars effect of small light fighter or small aircraft hitting a ship in this particular area and nukes it.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
I'd agree. Real quick, I want to grab a question from chat here. Raptor Man says, where are the new models? We follow you because of Fleet Viewer, and it hasn't been touched with any of the new ships. So, update on that. The Fleet Viewer ships, the Hermes and Moth, are both done and sent off to Starlet. Remember, there's a pipeline involved. I went over that on a previous episode. And there's a few reasons for the delays. 3 main reasons for the delay. The first reason for the delay is that we're all very busy individuals. Fleet Viewer is a multi-person team, and we're all busy with real life. And it just, we're not allowed to make any money off Fleet Viewer, so it's unfortunately a low priority in that regard. The second reason for the delay is there were tech changes to how the ships were sort of, I know I'm talking totally wrong here, VM, but I'm just going to say it. How the ships are sort of packaged in the client changed, how that coding and all that crap happens. So the software that is used to extract that had to have some rewrites to it. So the software application itself had to have some reworks made to it to accommodate that. That's not the first time that's happened. It takes a while. And then last but not least, and probably the most important part of the delay, is Starlet, who's the one that takes the ships and integrates them in the Fleet Viewer, had a death in the family, and that death in the family was someone very, very close to her. So I told her not to worry about any of this and to take her time in life and get through it. She has notified me, though, that she feels good to resume integration work on Fleet Viewers, so hopefully that'll happen soon here, but I am not rushing her at this time. Again, this was someone very, very, very close to her, and it's been a journey. So that's the reason for the delays, but I think we're sort of getting out of the delay phase, and we'll get back to pushing them out as soon as possible. But those are 3 pretty solid answers, I think, right there. I mean, one of the things I'll say too, and at VM, I don't know if you want to say anything about this, but the way the ships are in the game, it's not just like you export them, right? And it's like, here you go. They, even with custom software that's been created to pull and reassemble all the pieces needed to get the ship rebuilt in Blender so we can export those stills, even then, it's not just like a completely one and done process. A lot of times a VM has to go in there, do manual fixes. The ship might be missing a turret, might be missing a door, might be missing a decal, and that stuff sort of has to be gone in and figured out. Why is this not linking? How to get it, how to find it. Unfortunately, CIG's mission in life is not to make it like easy for people to pull ships from the games. So, thankfully they're really nice about getting hollow models available, which is why some of you may remember with like Starship 42, our good buddy over there, Lunfacy, was able to get like those into Starship 42 relatively quickly, but that's because he was using the hollow model, which was usually available on the website instantly, thanks to Ben Curtis. We don't do that. We don't use the hollow models. So there you go. There you go. There's your answer. Hopefully you liked it. Okay. Next question from Charlie McAwesome. Now that we've seen the Aurora pilot seat, what is the previous sneak peek red seat for? I've seen no guesses. Someone told me that was the Aurora Mark 1 gold standard. Because that image had come out a little bit before, and then I've also, or no, a little bit after, but that wouldn't make any sense. And then I've also heard that maybe it's like a special edition Aurora Mark 1. They do look like different ships, though, to me. They're both RSI. It also could be some special edition RSI ship we don't know anything about yet, or an in-production RSI ship we don't know anything about. I think it's a little open-ended right now. Do you guys have any guesses on that, on the 2 sneak peeks that they've released, those inside RSI cockpit images?
Do you think the special edition's like a luxury Aurora?
Could be. I mean, it could be. There look to be some different, like somewhat substantial geometry changes to the interior. I mean, it's a little hard to see. 90s says VMXEO edition. It's possible. It is possible. I don't know. Yeah.
VMXEO edition would probably fall under the Gray's Market styling. held together with duct tape. And
Just
Yeah,
does that come
a
with
dream.
does that come with the bucket?
yeah, it always comes with the bucket.
It is.
I just want to make sure if I'm investing my money, I want the bucket.
Yeah,
Just to set expectations, it's not a metal bucket. It's not a fancy metal bucket. It's a plastic bucket.
yeah.
Like the Rubbermaid one with the handle, like that's like broken off.
Have you ever bought like bulk paint from the store and it comes in like yeah, with a really awkward lid that you have to pry off with a screwdriver?
I love it.
Couple more questions here, and then I want to get to Squadron 42 talk. See, where did it go? It was a Kraken question, so we know it needs to be answered. Siri keeps trying to literally listen to my conversation. Okay. Someone says here, who is it? My real name is Sam, says, will the Kraken reflect smaller rounds as it is a military ship? Well, that's the interesting thing. The Kraken is not a military ship. It is an industrial ship, actually. It's classified, I believe, as a light attack carrier, but it's slated to come with all industrial components. So if you want to consider an industrial ship at that point, it's not like it's a military ship where, the UEE has a contract for its usage or anything. So I don't, CIG could change this, obviously. I mean, who knows what decision they'll make, but I don't think right now it's like a hard and fast military ship. I think it's technically an industrial ship. Illy says the Kraken is a capital industrial ship as far as we know. Yeah, that's sort of the last we've been told. Okay, couple more of these old questions here. I'm just grab bagging them here. Let's see here. There's some in the weeds questions on radar, but some of those are hard to get into without really deep diving radar stuff. Some of the questions make no sense. Sorry, we're gonna have to skip those. Another question from Dark Tiger. He says, with crafting, engineering, and deep delving into build variety and choices, how important is a new ship customization app in the Moby-Glass? So essentially, I think what you're talking about is, essentially what you're saying is a way to customize ships, I assume, during the crafting process, right? I mean, that would be the crafting UI. I think that's going to handle that. Or more importantly, the fabrication UI, whenever we get those fabrication hangars. However, if you're talking about customizing ships that are already built, you're talking about the vehicle loadout manager. Now, I do think we're going to get a new vehicle loadout manager at some point. And I think that vehicle loadout manager will sort of manage components, weapons, and some exterior stuff, like some hardpoint stuff. And then we will have some sort of, maybe it'll be an app, I'm not sure, but there's going to be then some way to get into the decorator mode in the future for us to fully outfit the interior of our ships with decor items, crafting stations, other things like that. That's the last we've sort of heard. So, Sandgroper asked a really good question here. Is the question bot working? No, it's not. It's not working tonight. Sorry.
That's wrong. The question bot is working. It is known as Art.
That's right. Art, the question bot is working.
Backup question bot.
Yeah. I'm not even the original. I'm the backup.
Right. Okay. Got a few more that came in here. VG says, with only 2 released and just 18 ships showing on the progress tracker you showed, is CIG going to make its 27 ships in 2026 goal, or are there some surprises off the books? Oh, I think absolutely there's some surprises off the books. So I think 100% there's a lot of ships we're not seeing there. Remember, that chart doesn't actively reflect some ships and vehicles we've heard of. I can name a couple right off my hand. So the Kruger Stingray, the Anvil Auxilla. There's some ships we've heard about, vehicles we've heard about that just aren't on the list yet. So, or any sort of tracking document. So for sure, and they're going to want us to keep some of that stuff a surprise for all 3 of the big events: Invictus, CitizenCon, and IAE. So yeah, absolutely. I think we'll hit the 27 ships. I just don't think all of those are being revealed yet. Rugar Blood Moon sounds like a Dungeon and Dragons name. Any word on the Crucible? None. We haven't heard any update on the Crucible whatsoever. That's one of those ships that is sitting on the backlog and probably will for a little while. I don't think you should expect that ship anytime soon. Maybe the soonest will be 2028. But John Cruz watching. Maybe he has different plans. I don't know. Dillman94 says, how could CIG clarify the release of the battle cruiser? I've heard from 2 people in game that incorrectly thought the battle cruiser would be flyable this Invictus launch week. Well, I think that confusion just comes from that thing where CIG has made no mystery around the fact that they're trying not to do concept ships anymore, with the big asterisk that this will be the last concept ship. So I think, some people, they only get, their information from one-off sources and stuff. And when you play a game of phone tag or telephone enough where one person tells one person something, the next person tells another person something, eventually details start getting left off and people just start combining things. So for all they know, the battle cruiser is flight ready at Invictus, but obviously that is not the case. I wouldn't expect it to be the case. It would be kind of silly if it was the case. The battle cruiser is the last concept ship, but I think it's also important to remember that the battle cruiser is sort of, I think, the last big Kickstarter stretch goal ship. I could be wrong on that, but I think it is, and that's the reason it's going to be a concept ship. It's a massive undertaking. It's going to require a lot of work. So in terms of CIG clarifying it, I think CIG just needs to keep the messaging consistent and strong. Hopefully enough people hear the correct full messaging behind it. And I think they'll do that during Invictus. I think there's going to be no there's going to be no hiding the fact that it's clearly a concept ship. Eric Meckham says, Graham, question, what do you think about CIG letting us take ownership, our ships to Fusion Crows, I think you mean Cousin Crows, to do upgrades to component sizes and weapons? I think they want us to be able to do that straight from the VMA. I think Cousin Crows may be, I don't know if that's going to be anything more than just a shop we drop by. Originally, I thought it was going to be someplace we could take ships to have extensive work done to them that you couldn't get done anywhere else. I still think that would be pretty cool and kind of force people throughout the system to get certain things done to their ships. But we haven't really heard anything about Cousin Crows since it was originally integrated into the game.
I think it's a good idea. Elite Dangerous does something like it, and no one seems to enjoy it as a game loop.
Okay. And well, here's the thing. I think with the whole base building thing, I think CIG's that was one of the things they changed, where it was like, well, before Cousin Crows was going to be this place, you did a lot of stuff like that. And now I think they've switched gears to where, hey, you're all going to become Cousin Crows. You're going to be able to have your own fabrication hangars, your own customization hangars. You're going to be able to craft tier 1 through 5 ships, probably craft tier 1 through 5 components. So in a way, we're all going to become Cousin Crows. You know what I mean?
Chat, you heard it here first. Come to Uncle Grimm's.
That's right. Cousin Grimm's.
Tell him I sent you.
But yeah, it's a good question. Eagle0013 says, do you believe we'll see more ships with protected storage, such as the Taurus or MSR? I feel like they had a few opportunities with Retaliator Cargo and New Prowler. Yes, but I think some of that is going to rely on some things we don't have yet. And by that, I mean like working customs, customs when we're entering and exiting certain systems, sort of at the jump gate, some sort of level of custom scan can occur. Hacking probably ties in a little bit to that, to be able to break through someone's shielded cargo area to scan it for illicit goods. There's probably gonna be a hacking component there. So I still think there's enough thread for CIG to make something there, but again, they haven't talked to us much about it. Dark Tiger says, do you think the F7X and Squadron 42 will be the N-tier hull upgrade to the F7A? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, John Crew did hint pretty heavily one time that there would be a way for us to get our hands on the F7X. Although I think it was confirmed maybe in this channel or in the chat that the F7X was not the Squadron reward ship for finishing Squadron. So, yeah, we don't know how we'll get the F7X. I know I want the ship, though. I do know I want it. Citizen Ninja says, do you think the next Grays Market ship will come at Invictus launch week? The one that looks like it has Buccaneer cockpit and Mustang wings. Yeah, it's possible. I think it would be kind of weird, though, if it came during Invictus, to be totally honest with you. And the reason is it's not a military ship. It would make much more sense if it came during, like, Defense Con. But that's always been dominated by Drake. But I've said it multiple times, too, that I think Defense Con should be sort of changed to be a Drake, or not Drake Defense Con, but just Defense Con. And that would have multiple manufacturers like Drake and Grays Market and stuff like that coming with new stuff. So sort of an Invictus, or, you know, it'd be like the anti-Invictus group of manufacturers. So, all right. Do we know of any generalists? This is from AKA. It says, do we know of any generalists or large multi-role ships coming out this year? Yeah. I think we know, I guess you're talking about like a formal generalist ship. No, I don't think we have any data on that. I mean, there's ships you can use in a generalist way. I think the Ironclad is going to be one of those. You're going to be able to put crafting station in there. You'll be able to do stuff within it. So in some ways, I feel like the Ironclad is kind of a large, a large multi-role generalist ship. It just is one you sort of got to approach manually. So,
do you think we're going to get something like the Clipper, but from other manufacturers? There's been some rumors about that.
Yeah, I think we'll get some more of those for sure. I mean, especially if the Clipper was even remotely successful. You know what I mean? I think it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. All right, I got one more question here. Then we're going to talk about some Squadron 42 speculation. Okay. DevilDog.Games says, do you think the Perseus will make it to the in-game shops like the Hammerhead? If so, thoughts on when/how soon? Yeah, it'll come. It'll for sure come. And then just when it will come will sort of be, I don't know. It would make sense for it to come to in-game shops for Invictus, though. That would make a lot of sense. Military ship hitting the in-game shops during a military event. Yeah, makes sense to me. But one could only hope. It'll definitely come to in-game shops, though. For sure. That'll happen. So,
my favorite person is here.
Oh, hey, XQ. Hope you're doing well. Hope your trip was good.
You weren't supposed to say that.
I was literally in the door about 10 minutes.
Oh,
just sat down and I was like, oh, it's streaming.
Good.
Let's go.
Everyone's really pissed. There's been no Info Runners show, so I hope you feel bad about it.
That's cool. That means they've been all watching you, so I don't have a problem.
Well, see, I canceled. I was going to do a stream last Friday, and I said, man, the Info Runners are on. I won't compete. So I literally didn't. And then I went to your channel thinking you were going to be on. You weren't. So it's funny. So
that's fun. That is
you came in right as we were about to talk about. So we're going to talk about a little bit of Squadron 42 speculation, and then we're going to talk about just general Invictus speculation. Kind of as we start, I think we're sort of on the cusp about, probably here within the next couple of weeks, about starting to get some maybe initial hints on what Invictus is going to look like. This is that sort of calm before the storm period. So kind of our last time to speculate wildly. But before we get to that, Squadron 42. Art, you've heard some rumors, unsubstantiated rumors, and you were telling me about them, thinking that maybe I had some inside knowledge, of which I do not. But essentially, the rumors were sort of swirling around about Squadron 42 going, like, being playable and going for, out for release during Invictus. And I told you.
VMX show? Huh? That's what I heard, VX. Right? I heard they were designing STARJUMP Grim underwear. That's what I heard.
Yeah, well, that's part of the merch plans for 2027. It's going to be the year of the Kraken and Grim.
I sent you prototypes.
I thought we specifically said that was under NDA.
It
was very inappropriately placed spaceships. Let's just put it that way.
It was, but
very inappropriately placed spaceships.
But C Daddy gave me a wink and a nod earlier, said it was okay to break that particular NDA about the Grim merch coming. Right. So there you go. No, I will say, here's my thing. Here, look, I'll give my spiel, and then I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this sort of rumor. First off, I hope it's not true. Again, I've worked in marketing, not game marketing, but I have worked in film and television marketing, which I know Chris Roberts is from the school of. Like he was in the movie industry for obviously directed some cool movies too. But in the I know he thinks like that, and I would hope there's a little bit of a marketing build up to give us some runway before release. And if it's just like a month and a half away, essentially, from being released to everyone without that build-up, it would concern me about the launch. What I think is much more probable, though, is we could, during Invictus or during that time period, because it's a military event, does sort of tie into Squadron 42, we could see some like the beginning of some Squadron 42 game packages or cross promotion stuff happening during Invictus. But more importantly, I think it's much more likely than the game going live that we would get CIG coming out and telling us the release date or the month that it's coming to sort of lock that down a little bit more. Again, ties into the military aspect of Invictus. Another option could be maybe there was like an early access thing for people who already own the game to play it a little early, starting at Invictus, but I don't think that's going to happen either. I think CIG wants to carefully curate the launch of this game. Even if there isn't a prolonged marketing campaign, I do think they want a marketing campaign. I do think they want that to be kind of special. I think when they do come out and announce that release date or some sort of new big thing, maybe it's a pre-recorded video and maybe CR is standing there with Mark Hamill or Henry Cavill or something big. CR, this is something I was telling Art. CR has led this project, right, since 2011, right? The Kickstarter campaign. Why get all the way to the end where you're about to finally release the crown jewel, Squadron 42, and you're just like, here you go, everyone. Have fun with it. No, this is his moment. This is the company's moment to be proud, to get it out there, to have the spotlight shown on them for a moment in a positive light instead of all the negative stuff that sometimes surrounds this project. And I don't think they want to just disregard that. I think they're still going to do some special stuff to celebrate the release of this. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I would think the most we would get is some sort of release date announcement during Invictus for later in the year. But I'm going to hand it over to you all. Who wants to go first? Who's got an opinion?
I actually do.
All right, let's hear it. And it better be good.
I agree with you. It's going to be a CR announcement. We're going to get a date. It's going to kick off the marketing blitz. They want this to hit as many people as possible. I think instead of doing an EA release, they could do a short demo, maybe just a single level, enough to prove we've got an actual game here. You can play it for free, see if you like it. Because they want people to play Squadron 42 when it comes out, because it means they're going to eventually play Star Citizen. So you need that initial hook to win the masses, not just the Star Citizen community.
Yeah.
And I think like a little demo would do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was split opinions on that prologue playthrough, but I got to tell you, the prologue playthrough for me got me real excited to play this game. And I wasn't that excited beforehand. I was kind of like, yeah, I'll probably play it. I love that prologue. Yes, it was very narrative heavy, but I like that sometimes. So again, it got me excited. So I think a good demo, a vertical slice, a new trailer showing stuff we haven't seen and stuff would be real interesting. Execute, do you have an opinion before I go to Art?
I think the last big thing I heard was from an inside source that they are actually kind of scared about Grand Theft Auto.
That's a great point.
And previous to that, I just assumed it wouldn't be because it's a PC game, not a console. But it's mainly the marketing people are scared because
They're smart to be. That's a good marketing person there. Yep.
And how do you you know, they're going to obviously have almost every head in the company on this, aren't they? You know, like, and there's really two ways you can look at it. Do you try and get it out like a bit like what was that game? The one with the bear and the sex scene and
Baldur's
I've
Gate.
just named. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate, where it kind of came out before Starfield, and then it kind of really smashed Starfield because it, you know, do you take that risk?
Yeah.
Or honestly, knowing the marketing budget these guys have got, I think we can probably, I don't know, I'd like to ask you guys as well, I guess. I was going to say agree, but I'd rather just ask.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's going to be a bit of a slow burn. Like it's going to come out, but then it's going to exponentially grow. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
But it's going to need time to do that. Like, is that a 1 month window? Is that
Like
a
you think?
3
Do
month
you
window?
like you think they're part of the plan is for some of that organic growth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think it has to be. You have to kind of let the product speak for itself, and they know that. You know that they've seen that before. Anytime they bring out a trailer, it just shuts people up. You know, like
well, yeah. Anytime that's the funny thing is anytime CIG releases something, either and mostly Squadron, but even stuff like the Star Engine trailer, I can't tell you how many people did reactions to that, and it was all glowing positive. So again, they've got something good there. It's how they message it, how they market it. And again, I do not claim to be. I'm not like our good buddy Astropub. I'm not like a gaming marketing expert. I've only ever been involved in the marketing for one game. It was Cartoon Network's Fusion Fall MMO a long time ago. But and actually,
that's why it failed.
Well, I know that's
why it failed.
And I have done some RuneScape stuff, but beyond that, I haven't really done it. My world's always been marketing for movies and television shows, and it is different for sure. But at the same time, Chris Roberts being from those worlds, especially the movie world, I would think he's got some of that marketing thinking going. I know he's got his own marketing team. CIG has his own marketing teams and expectations there, but I would. And you and Algert you and Algert have said this multiple times, but I do expect there to be a little bit of like red carpet flair here. Maybe not literally, but something to.
But Sandy as well, man.
Sandy
really good at marketing. She did a lot of fashion stuff, right? So it just shows that things is transferable over, so to speak. So she knows what she's doing.
By the way, everyone, for those that don't remember, I met Sandy Roberts last time I was in Vegas for the Quantum Vegas event put on by our good friends over at Soul Citizens, Serious Fun and Griff Gaming, all those guys, and awesome event. And Sandy is, and I know Execute, you can vouch for this, Sandy is as cool as she seems to be. She's just awesome.
Yeah, man.
You can just sit right next to her and literally start talking about Star Citizen. She could be sick and tired of talking about it, I don't know, but she will humor you and talk Star Citizen with you. She's really great. She does have a true passion for this. It's actually awesome to listen to her talk at these events and stuff. So
it's kind of funny how many people have forgot who she is because she doesn't appear on the videos much anymore. Like I remember we were at CIG and there's like these massive crowd of people outside and she's just standing there at the front door. Nobody knew who she was. We just walked straight up and go, hey, what's going on?
I'll say this because I've heard criticisms obviously in the past about, obviously you hear them about CR, you hear them about Sandy, this, that, and the other, or different developers and stuff. And I got to tell you, at Quantum, I'd never met Sandy Roberts. I'd never met Sean Tracy. I'd never met Xylo other than talking to him through Discord. And they could not have been more amazing. They were all, and Galactica too. All of them were awesome. All of them were super friendly, nice. And I'm talking to everyone, not just like a content creator or a streamer or someone who's a part of the show. They would circulate. They talked to Sean Tracy would just, you could deep dive his technical mind on Star Citizen for as long as you want. He was happy to talk to you. And again, they were just really amazing people. And I walked away from that. I walked away from that event. Yeah, I walked away from the event literally thinking even more highly about the team behind the game than I did walking in. And I felt good about them before that, but I walked away going, man, these people are passionate. So
you can, that's what I was going to say. You can always feel the passion, man.
Yeah.
Whichever ones of them you talk to, they're like just so passionate.
Yeah.
Man. It's crazy.
Art, What do you think, Squadron 42?
Well, while I agree with you guys, here's the thing.
Oh, by the way, and you must agree with me. You're my producer.
I have to, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you and VMXEO, not so much Execute.
Of course.
Just because I can. But here's my main takeaway from this is they have to start showing something now besides a trailer. They've showed lots of trailers. They've showed lots of what they call in-game footage, in-game stuff, and we've not actually seen it to believe it. And I think that with games like GTA and stuff like that, and a lot of these recent other games that have come out and kind of just fallen flat on expectation because they build it up so high and then it just fails and it gets review bombed and everything else. You got to show something. And I think I think we're going to get, this is all hopium, mind you.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get something like we got at CitizenCon with Chris Roberts coming in saying, hey, we're doing great things. By the way, Nix is open.
Right.
You know,
right.
And I think he's going to push something. It may not be the full Squadron 42 experience, but I think we're going to get a taste. And the reason why I say that is because that will then, the hype from that will then push them to their marketing, because all of the streamers who came out and said, oh, this is that, they're going to come out and say, okay, this is, it's playable. It's, there's negative things here. There's positive things here. But once you get that ball rolling with that hype of getting people involved, streamers involved, and they're playing the game and they're loving it, that's going to bring people in for those pre-orders that are going to,
Yeah.
Yep.
I think at least a mission or two definitely could see it. Will it be the full game? I don't know.
Could be the
that's what I was going to ask. You said pre-order, so are you thinking some kind of demo beforehand, or are you thinking like straight into it? Because I'm thinking like straight into it, bro.
I think for those of us who have already backed it, we're going to get access. Those ones that have it, we're going to get access. We're going to get access for those first couple missions.
Like,
when they do that,
when you said back access, it was a bit awkward. But all right, yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But those of us that have already bought the game, we'll be able to get those first couple missions or whatever. And then at that point, they could start their pre-order for a release date. And that's going to build that hype up, and you're going to get all these pre-orders in preparation of that. Yeah,
that's true. I think there's another, to counter that. I think I agree with all that, actually. One counter to that, and by the way, everyone in chat on Twitch and YouTube, I hope everything's stable. I just got an unstable warning about my bit rate. I 100% know what that is. I opened Photoshop before we started the stream, and it always does that when I open Photoshop. So hopefully the stream is still playing okay. Sorry if it's not. But what I was going to say was, go ahead.
I was going to say, are you trying to use that fancy new 2D, 3D object rotator in the Photoshop beta?
No, but that'll kill my machine for sure.
That's a shame, because I really want to see what's on the other side of the Misk Raptor.
I know. But what I will say is another way they could really. There's two things here, I think, that. Talking about the game at this stage, Squadron 42, I think one of the main goals about them speaking on it would be to reinforce the idea that it's real, it's coming, and that it's coming soon, right? There's another way to do that without having something playable or giving people early access or anything like that. And honestly, it's as simple as opening game package sales back up, or access to get the game or pre-order the game, and or showing us what that looks like. Even just a release month announcement at this stage, you're making the messaging a lot more real now than just it's coming, and that may be enough.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of saying it's coming out now.
Yeah,
I mean, far more dramatic.
My counter to what you're saying is it's going to feed into the narrative that we've had previously before when it comes to CIG. And again, nothing against CIG and their marketing practices, but that whole of them asking for more money without giving us anything in return. except hey, we're opening this back up so that we can
you
get you
talking about if
closer.
they start selling the game package again.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get that. I get that, but they're not trying to sell it to us. They're trying to sell it to new people that obviously have not wanted to buy ships.
By the way, I used to have a
but-
Squadron 42 package and I melted it accidentally, I think.
You're an idiot.
And it was an accidental melt. I believe. I don't
Should have
think
told me. I think Algon's got one. If you want one, I'm pretty sure.
I don't.
Algon's
I
got
can't.
one somewhere.
I swear I can't find it in my buybacks though. So
I've got one too. If you want one, I think I got a freelancer.
Ooh, we'll talk. We'll talk.
And a Hornet one somewhere, something like that.
By the way, thank you for all the follows, everyone. Amazing. I do appreciate that. A lot of great follows, a hydrate, some resubscribes. Appreciate you all. Tracking good. 8,042 followers on Twitch. That is awesome. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I mean, we won't speculate on this much longer. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns there. But we're coming up to a time where a lot of people have sort of speculated that if we're going to get the next bit of Squadron news, because it's been a little quiet on that front, other than, hey, we're optimizing, we're doing closeout, all that. We haven't really heard much. The next sort of big opportunity for them to talk about it is Invictus. And particularly because Invictus is military themed, Squadron 42 is the UE military game. So it's the next opportunity. That's all we can do is sort of hope we're going to hear something.
Can I give a counter to that, though?
Sure. Yeah.
Look at the ships that are on the roadmap. A lot of them are not military focused. There's a lot of industrial focused ships on that road.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And I think that's what's sort of interesting about it sort of being the year of Nyx is that I think maybe there will be a decent amount of industrial focus. So Def is asking for more Squadron 42 themed socks. I think you'll get your wish. All right, let's talk about the next thing. I'm going to bring up Hanger Link for this one too, but I want to talk about Invictus speculation real quick here. And again, this we could probably talk about this for an hour or 30 minutes or 2 hours, just depending on how tangenty we go. But we don't claim to know everything. We don't exactly know what's coming at Invictus. We have some strong hints at what's coming at Invictus. There's a few things we're pretty like 95% sure on. But I thought maybe we could sort of break down some of the things that we do expect are coming that we feel really good about, and then some that are more questionable, just so those of you out there that are more sort of like prepping your wallets, so to speak, for Invictus can kind of be ready for that. Obviously, CIG sort of sticking. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll ask a question to you guys as more veteran people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really prep your wallet anymore? I don't do it anymore. I don't need to. I'll shift shit around.
Well, I've paused new money going into the game for about the last 12 months. And so for me, prepping my wallet means prepping which ships I'm going to melt. But before that, I wouldn't like prep the wallet, but I would start to kind of earmark out how much I was willing to put into the game, and sort of set some limits for myself.
Can't not see Grim trying to resuscitate his wallet.
Yeah.
B7!
Yeah, doing a little bit of there's been times where the wallet could not come out and play for Invictus, but there's been other times where a lot of my big purchases actually happened during Invictus. So yeah, let's jump right in. Let's talk about the first one. I think is obviously the most guaranteed, and this isn't a flight ready ship, but it's the battle cruiser concept. Was asked about, just earlier about, the messaging behind that. A lot of people being confused that it's, and by the way, this is just a rendition of a battle cruiser. This is not the actual battle cruiser. But there's some discussion about, would the battle cruiser be flight ready or concept? We've all been told it's concept. Make sure you tell that to everyone. But I do think there's a lot of excitement around this ship, even from people who know they're not going to be getting it. It's definitely got a lot of groups talking. As I said before, I'll hang out with the enemy contact guys sometimes. I'll be in other streamers, chats and stuff. And the battle cruiser does seem to be a pretty big point of discussion amongst all the groups. So, and I think that's for a few reasons. It's going to be a massive ship. It's the last concept ship. It's a big old bruiser battle cruiser that we don't have that class of ship in game yet. So yeah, it's going to pull a lot of attention to it, and I think that's going to be the case during Invictus as well. We're going to have this thing there that's not flight ready, that's sort of sucking a lot of the air out of the room. And
I want a commitment from you that if there is a very specific thing on this battle cruiser, you'll buy one to give away.
What is that one thing?
No. Because you've got to agree to it beforehand.
Of course. Absolutely, I will.
It's not just a generic thing. It is a so what it is. Okay, I'll be fair, but I just don't want to go whatever. But I think it might lay mines.
Hey, I've been saying we need that mine laying gameplay, man. I'm telling you, if it can drop mines, yeah, I would want to do a giveaway of it if I could. C Daddy says in chat, I know I am very excited for y'all to find out more about it. There we go.
That explains the wet spot, C Daddy.
Yes.
Wait to be a tease. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, my leg. Sorry, everybody. My leg is hurting. Yeah, I think
it has to be Anvil though as well. Like if it's not Anvil at this point, people are going to lose their mind because we've all how many years has that gone on for now? I reckon close to 7 or 8 years we've been hearing about this Anvil capital. Thing.
I'm on the other hand kind of split on it, where the large Anvil ships we do have, Liberator, especially newer ones, Liberator, Carrack. I do love both of those ships. I think they're really cool. Not my favorite from a design standpoint, from a look standpoint. Yeah. While RSI to me has been killing it. So they're not aggressive enough for me.
They need more armor on them. Like, let's be honest, the Carrack doesn't really need armor, other does the Liberator. So if they made a heavily armored, think Terrapin, but battle cruiser, that could be amazing.
Yeah. Now, going way back to as an episode you did with Piggles like a long time ago, and y'all were looking at the Kraken. You made a comment because there was sort of discussion going on at that time about, what would you get, the Idris or the Kraken? And you kind of made a comment. I think this was before you even snagged your Kraken. You said, man, because y'all were looking at it in the game engine, and you were like, man, this thing just looks aggressive. And I think there's some credence to that because, look, a lot of people, new ship comes out, flight-ready ship, concept ship, what else? People are looking at those stats. They look at the components. They look at the weapons. We've talked about it before, though. There's a lot of people that just sometimes look at ships and go, that just freaking looks cool, and I want to own it because of that one reason. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just haven't seen that from like the large Anvil ships yet. I think the Liberator looks cool, but it doesn't look threatening really to me. I think the Carrack looks cool, but again, a little soft around the edges. Where, on the flip side to that, RSI has been killing it in the looks department. So I would be happy if it was an RSI ship. I'd be happy if it was an Anvil ship. Be happy if it was an Aegis ship. I would be happy if they went completely different with it.
I feel sorry for that poor concept guy at CIG that just threw out all his work. He's like, oh shit, he said it's not aggressive enough.
But you know what I mean? It's like we just haven't seen that example yet from Anvil. I'm sure it's there, and I'm sure CIG could do a great job on that. If we just haven't seen what that aggressive design language looks like for Anvil.
The hints of it, they're just here and there, like you got a little bit in the Legionnaire, you got a little bit in the Terrapin. They just haven't had any really significant. I'm trying to think of one. The name is on the tip of my tongue. The Paladin.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
that's a really good example.
Yeah,
that's the best example I can think of.
You keep skipping over the absolute coolest Anvil ship and arguably the coolest ship in the game. Period.
The Asgard.
The Anvil Hawk.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's true.
That's a good one, too.
That is true. I've said it many times.
They just need to upscale it by about 100 times and make it a capital.
Hey, I have said that the Hawk is one of my favorite ships purely because it looks like a Decepticon. Like it straight up looks like a Decepticon transformer.
the point I'm getting at is there's these little hints here and there. We just haven't seen it. We've seen it in some of the smaller ships and some of the mediums, but we haven't seen it all accumulated in a bigger combat vessel. Like the biggest kind of combat vessel we've got for them realistically,
Yeah.
that's, you know, that flying tank is the Paladin, but the Hawk's one as well. I'll give you the Hawk. I think you can see some of that in the Gladiator even,
Mhm.
you know, the Hornets, but they're all smaller. But again, if you can take some of those things and cross-pollinate them, you know, the armor from the Terrapin, the aggressiveness of several of the ships that we've mentioned there, you could come up with this amazing thing. Absolutely amazing. I hope I'm right, but, you know, maybe they went a different way. Maybe they went for Kruger, who knows? I got no idea.
By the way, everyone, real quick here, do not forget Saber Peregrine giveaway. Less than an hour, like it's only about 10 more minutes for this giveaway, so make sure you get in on it. Here's the link. Go to Gleam. This is courtesy of CIG. It's the Saber Peregrine with the Star Kitten racing paint, Star Kitten outfit, and I think you even get a regular Saber paint in it as well. Really cool. Don't have a ton of entries for this one, so get in there. Get it while you can. We'll be doing this drawing here live on stream very shortly. So, yeah, battle cruiser though. I mean, it's that's a certain. If you're one of those people out there that's not necessarily prepping your wallet, but is interested in this ship and are trying to get it for credit, I gotta say you got a lot of melting to do. This ship's probably going to be very expensive. I think I've heard everything from 4,000 to 4,500 to 5,000 to 6,000. I've heard a lot of dollars thrown around. I do think it's, you know, and I've heard some people say, oh, they're never going to do a ship at that cost. Well, absolutely they will. They've got the Legatus pack and other things that are very expensive. I don't think CIG is against an expensive purchase by any means. But will undoubtedly, I would think, be hull limited. Again, I don't know, but I'm speculating hull limited and extremely hard to get via credit. Maybe slightly easier to get via what do you call it? War bond. So, but that's all we know. I'm really excited to know more about it. It's one of those ships that, you know, I kind of put in like the category of the Javelin or ships like that, or like the Merchantman, where I'm like, oh, even if I don't own this ship, I'm excited for it to come. I'm think it's going to be cool in the future. I'm flying along doing my thing and I see one of these out there. I think that's really cool. You know what I mean? So even if you're not into the battle cruiser specifically, it's okay to be excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Next, let's keep trucking along here. Let's go to Drake Interplanetary, best manufacturer, obviously. Best manufacturer. Oops. We do know that we are, now this is technically DefenseCon, not Invictus, but we are I think we're all feeling pretty certain that the Ironclad is well on its way, right? For DefenseCon. Would you all agree with that?
Agreed.
Both versions, the Ironclad and Ironclad Assault. Based off where those are at in the roadmap, again, that CIG has shown us multiple times. I think, let me pull that back up real quick. The last we heard, it was in the LOD 0 phase, which, you know, LOD 0 and then downstream and then to flight ready. I think it's tracking really, really well for DefenseCon. We were given that hint last year that DefenseCon this year was going to be really big. If you remember, DefenseCon was skipped last year, which is a big disappointment, but it's back supposedly this year. And I think it's going to be in some ways, I think DefenseCon is going to be sort of the star of the show this year, maybe. So we'll have to see about that. But the big question here, and this is sort of one I want to throw to you all, we're getting the Ironclads. Do we think we could see anything else from Drake at DefenseCon? I mean, 2 Ironclads is enough, obviously, but do you think there could be any small Drake surprises? Clipper variant, anything like that? Anybody got any ideas?
Not
I
really.
I would like to see. I think I would like to see maybe a Corsair variant that seemed to do pretty well selling wise.
Yeah.
Now, what that variant would be, I have no clue. My argument's always data running, but
right.
I'm in the same boat with XQ on that. One day soon, TM.
Yeah. Skywatch says, question, does the finale of Invictus launch week happen after DefenseCon to help plan ship chains. I can't remember that actually. Do you all remember? Is there there's like
the last two sales they've not really done. See, I haven't bothered doing CCU guys.
Yeah.
The last Invictus, last AIE, it's not AIE, sorry, IAE, because they basically just most of the best CCUs are guessing game. You've got to essentially buy them and not know if they're going to be good or not. And then you come to the one at the end and they just offer kind of mert ones. So they're essentially trying to goad you into buying all of them, but only one or two of them would be any good out of like the 10.
Yeah.
So you're essentially wasting your money. So basically we're at the point now where it's better just not to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so what you're gonna goad people into doing it, and let's be honest, it's not worth being goaded. You're better off to just sit back and go, well, I'm gonna buy all these, and I'm gonna lose money here, and I'm gonna save money here, but I'm gonna save more money if I just do nothing.
Yeah.
So they've just kind of oxymoron themselves out of even doing it. It's kind of weird.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how they treat the events this year. I mean, again, with DefenseCon possibly being bigger and better than ever than what I think was how they described it, or the best ever. Maybe this year they're changing what those timelines look like. For example, and what I mean by that is if they don't have a lot on the docket for Invictus launch week, they could sort of shrink Invictus launch week down, to a shorter event, and maybe DefenseCon gets expanded this year. I've said it before, it's always been a Drake event, but maybe DefenseCon turns into the anti-Invictus, where it's not just Drake there, but maybe Drake is there, Gray's Market is there, Gattack, who knows? But I mean, that's more for Alien Week.
Grim's mom will be there.
Grim's mom will be there. You never know. It's very possible. But Ironclad, base, and assault with the command module, I'm going to go ahead and put that at 99% likely for
pretty high.
DefenseCon. Sorry, VM, did you say something?
No, I was just agreeing.
Okay, appreciate that. Glad you agreed. You heard it from VM, everyone. He agrees, which means I'm right. Swing back over to Aegis here. This is something I've had a lot of talks about people with. Go ahead.
It's really obvious. It's really obvious what it is now.
Yeah.
From the monthly report.
Yeah.
And I had an inkling. I think, I don't know if it was me and you or me and Algaret that talked about it. And I said, I can see them doing a variant because they're working on it and they're taking all this time.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would they be doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, what are they going to do? They're going to do a variant.
Right. Well, there's only two things I can see for Aegis for Invictus. The first one we got to talk about, obviously, is the Hammerhead. We know the gold standard push is into the downstream teams at this point, so really moving along. This is a ship that's one of those ships that a lot of people do love, but it's also been pretty desperately in need of a glow up, and maybe that is finally happening. We've heard of work on a related ship to this being in production. I could 100% see the Hammerhead coming, gold standard coming at Invictus. One giant kind of addition to that is last Invictus, we got our first blades. We got our first avionics blades. We did hear at that time, and I forget the source that we heard it from, but we heard that the next blades we saw were going to be turret blades. I don't know if that was 100% from dev either. So pour a healthy amount of salt on that. But I do remember hearing that somewhere. And I partially was wondering that if the Hammerhead's coming at Invictus, could it be possible that we're going to get another set of blades this Invictus, and it's going to be the AI turret blades, and maybe you're going to be able to control some, not all, but some of the turrets on the Hammerhead with it.
So this is what it says. It says, this is from the monthly report.
Okay.
In the UK, the ship team completed the art phases for the Aegis Hammerhead Gold Standard, with the ship moving downstream teams for close out.
Right.
Then they moved out on to a related ship, which is approaching white box.
So still pretty far away. If it's white box.
But related.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fucking variant to me.
Yeah, it sounds like a variant. I mean, I've said it before that related could also mean, I mean, I think it's more likely that's a variant, but it could also mean a larger Aegis ship that uses the Aegis kit, like the Hammerhead's kit or the Idris kit, like because the Hammerhead and Idris share a lot of parts and pieces too. So if that's the case, the only other ship that we already know about that would use that kit would be the Nautilus. Again, I think it's more likely that it's a Hammerhead variant. I'm just putting that extra bit out there as a possibility, you know.
Just real quick, if we can all go around and maybe one speculate each. What do you see that Hammerhead being a good variant for? Because I
don't know.
Really
That's the
see
thing. That's the thing. It doesn't scream a ship that like needs a variant unless the variant is more remote turret based, and maybe that one can't be controlled by blades, but it maybe has less turrets on it. I don't know. I don't really know. To me, it would be personally kind of silly for the variant of the Hammerhead to be like, oh, here's the cargo variant. I've heard some people talk about that. It just seems kind of like, why?
Make it,
why would you do that?
I don't know. A mining or salvage. Oh, wait. You know what? Soundgroper beat me to it. Yeah. A mining or salvage with a very limited amount of SCU in the back would be kind of hilarious.
That's the only other one I've heard that makes sense. But the only other one I can think of isn't so much a variant, but just like a rejig of the turrets. So, like, imagine the turrets are like 2 size 6s instead of 4 size 4s or something like that.
Well, to me, though, the question goes back to the original Hammerhead then on that. We've seen, you know, since the Hammerhead's released too, we've seen changes in terms of, you know, ships that are punching up versus punching down, and some ships get seeming overgunned compared to other ships as they sort of feel out where ships should be. Do you think this gold standard Hammerhead pass could include a bump up to its weapon loadout, like in terms of size? Could it? I mean, I think size 4s is obviously probably more appropriate to the role of an anti-fighter ship, but could we see some armament changes to the Hammerhead?
I think we'll see PDCs for sure.
Oh, that's a good one. PDCs, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of that one. But I was going to say it's probably more Squadron related because we do know the Hammerhead's in Squadron.
Wait, that is true. Yep. That is true.
I would like to see, and I saw somebody in chat said the same thing, I would like to see a variant of this as an interdiction ship with a much larger lockdown range of pulling ships out of quantum. Because we don't have, aside from, you know, the Mantis, we have no other interdiction higher. So I don't understand how I could foresee in the future a Mantis is not going to be able to necessarily pull out an Idris.
I hope that's the case. Yeah, that's always bothered me a little bit too.
And we're gonna need something bigger to do that. Now, how the armaments will be placed and all that other stuff, I have no clue. I like to see them flip it on their side, so it's more a vertical looking Hammerhead versus what they've got there, but that's just preference.
Yeah. The next thing I wanted to talk about real quick here, because I want to keep it moving here so we can get to our giveaway. The next possible Aegis ship that we could see the Javelin go flight ready at Invictus. I mean, it's
possible.
It's possible. I mean, I'm not saying it is. I'm not betting a large amount of money on it, but I could say it's possible. Oh, real quick, Black X Sparrow is in chat saying, "Hey man, hope you're feeling better." I am. Thank you very much. I want to shout out Black X Sparrow real quick. Black X Sparrow helps people get referrals for Star Citizen. If you're so inclined, you can find him on X under his name. And I can attest to his results. He helped me out for a day, and I saw some real results. So there you go, Black X Sparrow. He's probably booked up quite a bit, but he does good work. He does good work.
X Sparrow, are you related to that Jack Sparrow guy? Can you help us get a wooden leg? We need one for Grim.
I need one for me. That's true.
For when the gangrene kicks in.
X Sparrow, I'm feeling better. My leg I can only kind of keep in a certain place for a certain amount of time before it starts really hurting. I'm kind of getting to that limit now. It's about an hour and a half limit. I'm still on crutches. I can't walk freely or anything, but
chop it off. All right, get the knife.
Yeah, chop it off.
Get the knife.
Yeah. Spike 6K says, "Hey Grim and my darling Exixite. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
I mean, he's always excited, so
yeah,
that
he
makes,
is always
that
excited.
makes sense.
That's true. But yeah, Javelin. I mean, look, it's possible it would go really well with a Squadron release date announcement. The last we heard from John Crew was coming post Squadron release, but soon after. Obviously, CIG shifted off of that schedule. We've gotten the Idris much earlier now. So it's very possible the Javelin could go flight ready this year. Could be at Invictus, could be at CitizenCon, could be IAE. We don't know. It could be for whenever Squadron goes live. But I really do sincerely think it's possible. I firmly sit in the 50-50 category on it, though. I really don't. I'm not saying it's more likely than not or anything like that. I do think the work on it is probably done. We've seen the new exterior. I don't know if we would get the new exterior, but the only thing we haven't heard about are the two torpedo launcher rooms being finished and the modular rooms. But I would assume, since the last update we got about the Javelin, which was several years ago at this point, that work has now been completed. So, all right, want to move over to some other manufacturers here, going to RSI, Robert Space Industries, real quick. Obviously, the Aurora Mark II, we're thinking is a 4.7 ship. We talked about that. Beyond that, though, we don't really know 2027. We are getting 2027. We are getting updates on, the Kraken. They've been pretty quiet on the Galaxy, so can't tell you much.
27 ships coming though, so
yeah,
exactly. And you're probably more likely going to hear stuff around, IAE. They wouldn't want to overshadow that from Invictus.
I think we crashed out.
Did we crash out?
We're back now.
I won't allow it. Let me check some stuff here, everybody. Bear with me.
Sonny just sent out notifications again.
Did it? Okay. I don't know why that happened, everyone.
The commercial.
Okay. I can tell everyone that sometimes that happens when I open Photoshop before I do a stream, and I usually do not try to do that, and I did do that. For any of you that have run Creative Cloud in the past, it puts so many things running on your machine, even when you don't have the software open, and I think that's what's happening. I probably should have did a restart after I did the stream setup, so apologies about that. Hopefully everyone's back.
How dare you not give Adobe your full and undivided attention?
I know. I tell you.
You owe them money now.
Speaking of updates, though, I saw some people asking about the Kraken. We could get an update on the Kraken, a more substantial update on the Kraken during DefenseCon. I would like to see that. I really would. It's a big, expensive ship. There's been some reworks on it. I would like CIG to be kind of open about those reworks. So I would really like if we got an update on it. Okay, moving on. Anvil Aerospace. Well, the Gatak Raylan's supposed to go flight ready at Alien Week. That's not really tied into those, but still close. So we are expecting the Raylan. That'll be a big, exciting ship that is still targeted for, I think that's the third week in June is Alien Week, somewhere around there. But next manufacturer, Anvil Aerospace. We haven't heard anything about a new Anvil ship other than the Anvil Auxilla, which is listed as a generalist vehicle and not necessarily a military thing. Do you all have an opinion on that one? Do you think we could see anything new from Anvil? Other than the battlecruiser?
Anything's possible. I think that's the thing. When there's 27 ships coming, it's hard to kind of narrow it down.
Yeah, we haven't had
why
any.
We need ship silhouette videos that we didn't get.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't had any. I can tell you all just in like the back channels on some of us ship focused content creators. We haven't heard anything like about a new Anvil ship or anything. Obviously, there's the battlecruiser rumors. There's the Anvil ships that are still out there, the Liberator, the Crucible, stuff like that. But we haven't heard of like any new things coming. So
we should put some pressure on Ben and Curtis. Ben and John.
I hope they don't disappoint us this IAE or this CitizenCon.
Silhouette, bro. Silhouettes now.
Next manufacturer, MISC. I think the biggest thing with them is the hull B, but I think it's actually more likely that we'll get the hull B as a mid kind of patch for 4.7, so a mid-month patch update for 4.7. I think someone called it out in chat that the moth was sort of the same. I think that would make sense based off where it's at in that Lot 0 downstream team phase. So, Origin. The The only thing still outstanding on the Origin is we've heard some stuff about possible new Origin ship. And then, of course, there's the G12. And one of those variants of the G12 is a military variant or combat variant. I don't know if it's actually a military variant. But I'm not expecting anything from Origin. No real surprises there. I don't think you all are either. Has anyone got any big Origin bets they want to put down on the table?
Origin 404 not found.
404 not found.
I was just going to say that we'd probably get a 600i rework before we'll get anything interesting out of Origin.
Yeah. By the way, some of you don't know, but the 404, Origin 404 is in Fleet Viewer. If you uncheck official only right here and type in Origin, unless I have to eat my words here, which is possible. Maybe it was removed. I can't remember. I may have told Starlet to remove it. Let me see. Oh, no, here it is. Here it is.
404 not being found.
404i, here it is. 404i. You'll see it does come up. The ship itself is not there, but the seats are. And you can see it's just a faint whisper of a 400i in there. That was one of our Easter eggs for Fleet Viewer.
So they have said that there's a new ship coming from Origin.
That's true. Yeah.
And they confirmed that it was a ship, not a vehicle, apparently during the IRC live.
Like I said, I'm interested to see what it is.
I honestly think with the way they're going with variants and you talking about a 400i, that would be my top contender.
Yeah.
A 400i variant would be the topmost thing. It's the most current Origin ship that they have.
Yeah.
It's probably the most closest to actually luxury working. It being a 400i, it's actually meant to have variants.
Now Cody Fox says Jared said there's an Origin ship coming by Invictus. I didn't hear that. I'm not doubting you, Cody, but I didn't hear that specifically. I heard there was a new Origin ship, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is by Invictus.
Do you think they could take the 400 and turn it, make a journalist variant of the?
I didn't even do anything.
I don't know. Everybody. Let's see if we pick up. Are we still offline? Let's see. I may have to just restart.
One's in chat if we're up. Give me ones if we're up.
I see now it's saying we're live again.
There's one. There's some ones.
We're back up. All right. Yeah, everyone. Sorry about Twitch tonight. I don't know. Those of you in YouTube will know that I was putting some YouTube messages in the holding place for this video where I was saying I was having internet issues all day. I had almost thought about canceling the stream tonight, so it looks like I'm probably getting those again, but it's okay. We don't have much longer. Let's wrap this up. We'll do the giveaway. The last one I'll say, the last two ships that we're talking about was possibly the Kruger Stingray, and then of course the Greycat UTV. I think the UTV could be. One. Have I? What's the other one I missed?
The third one, the Raelian.
Oh no, I talked about the Raelian, but that's an Alien Week.
Oh, okay. Fine.
But it's in the kind of in the time period. But UTV, I could totally see being the LTI token.
LTI,
for Invictus, because I think it'll be sort of military themed, or there'll be a military variant. And then the Stingray, the Kruger ship, I think it's possible. Gear Khan, thank you for those 100 biddies, buddy. Appreciate you.
That's why the stream's been crashing. Gear Khan's not been here to give biddies.
Yes, he has it. Yes, he has it. And everyone, again, going to be a big announcement next Wednesday related to St. Jude. What's going to be on the raffle prize docket? Big thanks to GearCon on that. More info on that soon. I got to have some conversations with Ender and Art and everybody. So, but things are happening. I have been doing a lot of planning for my content behind the screen, behind the scenes. There we go. Okay, we do got to get to the giveaway. We got to get to the giveaway. Let me get my. Yeah,
I'm going to step out, boys, because I'm starting to fall asleep. So thanks for having me. I will catch you all soon.
Thanks, buddy, for stopping in. Appreciate you. Thank you for stopping in, buddy. Okay, everybody, it is time for the Saber Peregrine Racing Star Kitty giveaway, courtesy of CIG, our good friends over there. C Daddy CIG, I know, is in chat. C Daddy, salute to you, my good friend. Hopefully you all got in there and all that kind of good stuff, but it is time to pull a winner. You all know I do it live on stream. And even though Gleam has added a way to hide winner details, I am still worried about doxing, but I'm going to give it a try, dang it. We're going to give it a try. So I'm going to bring it over just so y'all all know it's legit. So I've got hide winner details here for live, because this is how it works for live stream. And I can draw the winner. Again, this is for the Saber Peregrine with Star Kitten livery, Star Kitten outfit, all that good stuff. We're going to do the drawing right now. Sorry for the stream instability tonight, everyone. I actually think it's my internet. But thank you for all the follows, the subscribes, everything. You're all amazing, legendary people. Love you. Let's go ahead and do this winner here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I guess I got to pull some more. Okay, drawing. Here we go, everybody. Now we're drawing the winner, and it is a Matthew B. Obviously, they did the action via visiting our STARJUMP page on YouTube. I will reach out to Matthew B. If that is you, if you're watching right now and you are Matthew B., congratulations. I will be sending you an email and getting you that ship. Hopefully, when the Aurora Mark IIs drop for 4.7, hopefully CIG will be as amazing as they are always and send one to give away, because I would love to do a Aurora Mark II giveaway for you all. But there we go.
I think we're going to start calling it the Aurora Omnithopter underscore VMXBO.
Yes. Absolutely. And then obviously next Wednesday, I'll be doing all my big announcements for how I'm going to approach St. Jude Play Live this year, helping out that really great cause. Going to be a lot of big stuff, a lot of raffles to get away,
super exciting.
A lot of free giveaways going on. My wife is going to do some content with me, which is going to be a lot of fun. That'll be really interesting once again. So more on that soon. Be ready for that. Again, I still have there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. I got to have chats with Ender. I got to have chats with Art. There's a lot going on. I wish we still had a month to plan, but we don't. That being said, you all are amazing for continuing to hang out, even when things have been a little rough for the stream tonight. I am going to raid someone over on Twitch before I go and ice my leg once again, but hopefully you've all enjoyed this stream. Sorry, we kind of kept it short here in the end, but I think I have internet issues tonight here. I live in a new neighborhood, just so everyone knows, and there's constantly stuff they're doing with utilities and things to get some of the other neighborhoods plugged up and into the grid. So I'm going to be rating our good buddy, Mr. Photog. Going to send you over to him. Make sure you give him some STARJUMP love when you go over there. Follow him if you haven't. All of you in chat, all the familiar names, thank you so much. Thank you for all the follows. I know I didn't call out every name, but I can assure you I do appreciate it. Okay, there's not a single follow on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube that I do not appreciate. They've all led to these two streams on the YouTube side and the Twitch side blowing up and getting as big as they have. And I can't thank you enough. I really, really can't. So everyone, chat, I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for the patience with my injury recovery lately. Going to send you over to Mr. Photog now, prepping that raid. VMXEO and Art, thank you for joining me tonight. It's always fun to talk to you gents. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Yes.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Cool. And yeah, everyone, sending you over to Mr. Photog right now. Make sure you give him a little bit of that love. Have a great night. Salute to you. Let's get excited. St. Jude, Invictus, Defense Con, Alien Week, all coming up very, very soon. Everyone have a great night. See you. All right. See you on YouTube. You get a little